Hey, yo, Josh, let me get a little bit of reverb. Yeah. J. Will. Yeah, I'm about that lifestyle. I talk green work, repping it all over. It's right on the t-shirt. Fan for a lifetime. Yeah, that's a long pass. Figure I would show some love right on the podcast. Turn this up loud and make sure you don't do nothing else. Cause if you're listening to us, then you're improving your health. My name is J. Will. Welcome to the show, yeah. Wrestle, flow, yeah.
After watching an absolutely incredible NXT Takeover New York, this is Wrestling Reverb. I am Josh. Now, unfortunately, Kevin cannot be here today for this recap show of NXT Takeover, but don't worry, you're not going to have to listen to me on my own, because a chat that I've been waiting to have for a little while. I have one of the boys from Wrestle Thoughts Podcast right here. I've got Kurt. How are you doing today, Kurt?
Hi, Josh. Yeah, I'm doing good, thank you. Thank you for having me. We've been wanting to do this for a while. Shame Kev's not on it, but yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Hey. For those who don't know Kurt and Wrestle Thoughts Podcast, can you just give them a little brief rundown of what your show is and where you can kind of find that show?
Yeah, so basically it's just like if you're chilling out with your friends at a pub. There's me, my friend Callum, my friend Jamie. We all live in the same city. We're all really close friends outside of the podcast. We just get together every Saturday, sometimes during the week, and just talk about the news of wrestling. We'll take fun out of each other. We'll just take fun out of the wrestling product. We'll talk about what we love, what we hate, and we just try and be ourselves and make people laugh, make people angry, and yeah, just enjoy talking about what the three of us are passionate about. And yeah, we're now part of the Brainbuster Radio,
yes,
which we're really excited about. And you can find us on Twitter as well, at WTPodUK.
Yeah, these guys are great. I listen to your show all the time. Very fun. It is very much like you're a fly on the wall almost, to just sitting in the room, sitting in a pub with your friends. That's what I kind of like. I like to just have a conversation on a podcast. That's basically what I like to listen to, and you boys do that every week, so very big fan of you guys. And
no, thank you.
Having fun is the main reason why we all do this, really. We're not doing this because we have to, we do this because we want to. So of course, naturally, I want to talk to you guys, so I'm glad to have you on, and especially after a show like that. We're not going to really waste any time here with a bit of a brief intro. We're going to get right into NXT TakeOver, because both of us are raring to talk about this, because it was quite the show. Before we even talk about the match though, Kurt, going into this show, were your expectations high?
It had to be. I think one of the best things about TakeOver, especially this one, was apart from the Walter match and the tag match, you didn't know the other three match results. You couldn't tell who was going to win.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it. I hate predictability.
Yeah.
But the way I knew what Ricochet and Aleister Black are like and what Pete Dunne is like, I knew for a fact that they'd be able to still make me believe in a way, make me believe that actually they could win it. They could win the match. But yeah, I was excited to see Walter and Pete Dunne. Obviously, I was live in attendance, front row for Walter's debut when he came down at the end of NXT UK TakeOver, knocked out Joe Coffey, face to face with Pete Dunne. The place was just going electric.
Yeah.
And since then, I've just been waiting for that Walter vs Pete Dunne. A lot of Brit fans were disheartened that it was going to be at NXT UK, NXT TakeOver New York, but I don't see why.
Yeah.
Yes, it's the biggest match in NXT UK history, so that's why it should be on the biggest wrestling weekend.
I
Get
agree.
more eyes on the product. Like yourself, we was talking during the group chat where you haven't seen that much of the British wrestling stuff, but you was blown away by it and now wanting to see more, and that's why it needed to be on this show.
Yeah, it exposes more eyes to people like me who's, we've talked about this many times on Wrestling Reverb, and I'm sure you've talked about this extensively on your show or just in general. There's a lot of content that WWE put out. There's a lot of wrestling in the world just in general. So, we have to be realistic about things. As much as we'd like to watch absolutely everything, we have to cut somewhere. And for me, it's NXT UK. However, just like I've been watching 205 Live the last few months, I've really gotten into it. I have to start paying attention to NXT UK because that match made me do that. We'll talk about more of that match later and what it kind of did for someone like me, just in my eyes. But we kick things off with a tag match that I knew was going to be good. I knew this was going to be really good. War Raiders versus Aleister Black and Ricochet. Now, I didn't expect it to be as good as it was. It kicked off the show, and what did you think about this match going into it? Because I'm sure you thought it was going to be pretty damn good, but did you really think we're going to get the quality of match that we got out of this one?
Well, it has to be said that Aleister Black, Ricochet, that's their best performance as a tag team they've put on by a country mile. And what better way to put that performance on when they're bowing out from NXT?
Yeah.
And yeah, I thought, this is going to be a good match, but all four of the guys brought it to a whole nother level. Ricochet's strength where he's catching Hansen. Holy shit.
Yeah.
He should not be able to do that. And then obviously Hansen shows time and time again how athletic he is, and it was trying to one up Ricochet, which most high flyers struggle to do. Yeah, Hansen was getting the pops as the flying man of the War Raiders.
It was just, I mean, to me, like you said, Ricochet catching Hansen, the stuff that Hansen can do in the air for a man his size is absolutely incredible. They're just four very good professional wrestlers, very good sports entertainers, whatever you want to call them. They're just good at what they do. Was there really a more appropriate way to kick off WrestleMania weekend than with this match? Because it had literally everything you want in a match. It had high action, it had storytelling elements, it had four really incredible characters. Entrance-wise, they were just off the chart. The crowd was amazing. Just such a good match.
Yeah, and it started off great, especially there was no creak on Aleister Black's entrance. We had the lasers back on Ricochet's entrance. Like, hopefully Raw will stick to that, because nobody likes the creak. Come on, like, don't fix what isn't broken.
I agree.
It's already fantastic. But no, that shooting star press.
Oh,
I don't think I've ever seen a shooting star press quite like that. That was absolutely, that was magnificent.
It's like he stood up in the air, almost, if you can picture what I mean. It's like he stood up and then just went, it was just, some of the stuff Ricochet can do is just, I know this is cliche, but it's picture perfect. It's textbook. It's so well done, and no one quite does it like Ricochet, in my eyes anyway. And they've had a big week. They've had the Raw Tag Team Championships this past Monday on Raw. Then we had them today at TakeOver. We've got them for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania. And the Raw Tag Team title match with Revival was great. This match was absolutely insane. I'm sure their match at WrestleMania is going to be insane as well, for all different reasons in each different match. But they're having a good week, even with a loss. Yeah,
it would be a shame if they do lose the SmackDown title, especially winning the Dusty Classic, because then they've had 3 title matches in a row where they've all lost.
Yeah.
It kind of, where do they go from there as a tag team? And with WWE's booking of tag teams, they're not really good at building people back up once they've shit the bed with them.
Yeah, I agree. They don't have a great track record with main roster tag teams and stuff like that. Going forward past, maybe past the next month, do you see them sticking as a tag team?
I honestly, who knows?
Yeah.
Who would have thought we had Rusev and Nakamura as a tag team?
True. I don't know, but you know what? They've worked me as a tag team. I wasn't really sold on them as a tag team, but they really do gel quite well.
They sold me on a tag team tonight.
Yeah.
Before then, I still saw it as 2 singles. But tonight I thought, actually, I could get behind this.
Yeah.
I really could. But part of me just wants to see the Aleister Black that we all know he can be.
Yeah. And the Ricochet, too. The Ricochet that he can be, because they are... listen, they're not long-term going to be a tag team forever, but, I mean, for the short term, it's a good way to introduce them to the main roster, get them fresh, because they are getting really solid, nice reactions on the main roster. Of course, they're mega over in NXT, which is so great, but overall, this match was amazing. If you had to put into just a short sentence what this match was, when you saw that 3 count, what would you kind of say, just to kind of shape it up?
I'll just say, it's one word that I'm going to use a lot tonight, but storytelling.
Yeah.
The storytelling in the match, I knew full well that they've said the farewells, this was their bow out, but then there was points in the match where I was on the edge of my seat thinking, actually, could they be going to WrestleMania as NXT Tag Champions?
Thought the same thing.
And to get that out of me as well, because I am quite set in my ways at times. If I'm like, yeah, this is how it's going to happen, it takes a lot to get me out of, actually, that might not happen, this might happen instead. And they managed to get that out of me, which I just thought was absolutely credit to those four. I loved the sign of respect between Aleister Black and Ray Rowe at the beginning, trying to one-up each other as well, and just absolutely incredible. And I can't wait to see what the War Raiders do next on NXT.
Yeah, me too. That is the beauty of a great match, is not being upset about the result. It's about where they can go next, and you're genuinely excited. And obviously, this was the last time we're going to see Aleister Black and Ricochet in NXT, so a great farewell. Put on your best performance, well, some of their best performances that they can. Now, moving on to the next match, we had the NXT North American Championship match between Velveteen Dream defending against Matt Riddle. Now, I don't know if you know this about me, Kurt, but I am not a big Matt Riddle guy. I'm not a fan of him. I'm just not sold on Matt Riddle. However,
oh, 1 minute, Josh. I've got to go. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm just not sold on him, but he's great in the ring. I'm not taking that away from him. But there's just something about him that... Do you know those wrestlers that you just can't find within yourself to like? I don't know what it is about him, and I can't explain it. I'm not a fan of Matt Riddle. Great worker, and this was a really great match, especially following that tag match was just... It was a hard spot, but they did it. They really did it. What do you think about this match, and anything kind of stand out to you?
Well, I love Matt Riddle to start off with. Huge fan, and I think the difference might be that Matt Riddle was kind of like adopted by the UK when he came to wrestling. He was at Progress quite a lot. He was the Progress Atlas champion, and I remember seeing him at Wembley against Mark Haskins in front of, like, in the biggest crowd in England, and so I think that was why I've probably connected a bit more with him. I always remember one show that I went to, and I just bumped into him when I was going to the bar, and I was like, fantastic match and stuff. He was like, do you want a picture? I was like, yeah, sure. And it was him like offering, and I was like, look, one of my friends couldn't make it tonight. He's a massive fan. Don't suppose your man doing him a shout out? And I was like, oh yeah. He was like, what's his name? And I've still got the video where Matt Riddle's like, hey Ash, how's it going? Thought he was going to be here maybe next time. Catch you later, bro.
Oh, hell.
And it was just... And then I posted that on Facebook, tagged my mate in it that couldn't make the show. And I was just like, what a guy.
That is really nice of him to do that, because they don't have to do that. It's because he wants to.
Yeah. And that's what he is. He's just a fan of it all.
Yeah.
He is a fan. He'd never hard out at the back of the shows. He was always, once his match is done, he'd just start integrating with the crowd and just start, well, this is a good match, isn't it? And that's what it was like.
Oh, that's good. Now you made me feel bad.
You should.
But this match, I mean, Velveteen Dream is fantastic. Character work is out of this world. You know, performance-wise, he's great in the ring. Him and Matt were the perfect example of the young stars of NXT going out there with the intention of, we're still in the show, follow us. And you could tell that they were giving their 110% on this one. I thought the match was really good and a different good than the tag team match. It was a good contrast of different styles of wrestling.
Yeah, and the characters got across really, really well. Velveteen Dream, like you said, amazing character. I strongly believe both of these will main event WrestleMania within the next 7 years.
Damn.
Maybe not together, but Velveteen Dream will main event WrestleMania, as will Matt Riddle. And I love the fact that Velveteen just embraces it.
Yep.
It's one thing having a good character in your promos, a good character on your entrance, but when that bell rings, some people forget the character, and it's so frustrating.
Yeah.
But Velveteen just turns up a notch and embraces the character even more. I love it where he's hulking up. I hope he sticks to that when he eventually moves to the main roster. And yeah, the match was fantastic. I didn't expect it to go that way. I was thinking,
Me too.
yeah, Riddle take the belt, Velveteen might move up, but was wrong. Like I said, I couldn't call it.
Yeah, that one was hard to call. I thought Matt Riddle was going to get it too, but nonetheless, fantastic match. And to your point with Velveteen Dream, the thing I like about him is that with his character work is, I think the best characters are when you can't envision them as a quote-unquote normal human being. I can't picture Velveteen Dream anything but Velveteen Dream, and I've seen Patrick Clark on Tough Enough, but I just can't. I can't envision him any other way anymore. He is that character, and I mean that's doing a good character job in my opinion. Anyway, he's doing his job well, but overall,
yeah, I
fantastic
get what
match.
you mean.
Yeah,
If I met Velveteen Dream, well, Patrick Clark, let's say, I'd want him to be Velveteen Dream.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be quite surprised if he wasn't. Whereas some other guys, oh yeah, they're not in character because they're not on screen, but he's somebody that you just imagine him to live like that.
Yep, that's a good character.
Yeah, and take it away from Takeover a little bit, MJF, I got to meet him in London, and he kept the character
That's good.
so well to the point where I kind of felt awkward getting the picture with him. Because I was like, well, does he want to get the picture? Does he not? And I was like, do you want to put the finger up like what Adam Page, like you did to Adam Page on Being the Elite? It was like, no. And then when we got the picture, he just turned to me and put the finger up against my face, and then just kind of like walked and winked. And I was just like, that's class. I was like, I felt so uncomfortable. That was amazing. Because he just kept his character 24/7. And yeah, Velveteen Dream, I just can't wait until he's on the main roster. So it was kind of bittersweet, but I thought it was really good to keep Matt Riddle really, really, really strong.
Yep.
Velveteen, they've set up, then they need a second match. I think Riddle will be the man to take the belt off Velveteen.
Me too.
And when that happens, Velveteen to then go up. And I think Riddle, that'd be the perfect champion for the North American Championship. Somebody to have a very long, lengthy reign, being quite the fighting champion with it. I think that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I agree, because to me, you may not agree with this, I'm not sure, but to me, the North American Championship is treated how the IC title was treated in the mid-90s, in the late 90s, as that workhorse championship, the one that you are going out there with the intention that we're going to put on the best match of the night every single time we're on a show. To me, Matt Riddle, Velveteen Dream are those workers. They're those guys that have that intention. So to me, that championship is associated with great matches.
Well, look at the lineage. Adam Cole, Ricochet, Johnny Gargano, Velveteen Dream. Like, all four of them have been the workhorses of NXT at some point. And I know it's easy to say that, but because the NXT title tends to have workhorses, but it's just the NXT roster is stacked. It is a change in the generation of wrestling. But yeah, I like the idea of that, and I like the idea of having whoever's the North American champion maybe going to like Evolve and defending the title.
Yeah, going to other places.
Yeah, like Sasha Banks said it, she wants to work with WWE's partner promotions, and I thought that'd be brilliant to make them true tag team titles. Go on NXT, go on NXT UK, Raw, SmackDown, but then maybe go to Evolve or go to Progress or OTT, ICW, and make it a World Tag Team Championship. And that's what I'd like him to do with the North American. I'd like someone like Matt Riddle or Velveteen Dream to travel around just defending that title everywhere. Just make it like the traveling champion.
Yeah. Hey, that is a great idea, because even at the end of the day, looking at from a WWE standpoint, it's just more publicity for WWE. They're just getting that title out there in more places. So then, hey, people that might only watch, those promotions will start watching WWE. You never know, because at the end of the day, they're just trying to make their business better. And to make the business better is working with everybody, including everyone. It makes the industry better. But yeah, that match, great stuff. Now, I'll let you take the reins on the next match, because, hey, it's the UK Championship, so let's let Kurt take the reins on this one. Go away with it, Kurt. Just take it away.
I don't even know where to start. Since the debut of Walter, I said to my mate that I travelled with, I was like, this needs to be defended on the takeover at Mania. I was like, don't let him have a match until then. And then on the last set of tapings, it was announced it was NXT Takeover. He's gonna face Walter, and it didn't disappoint. It's maybe not the match that most NXT fans in America, or maybe your side of the world, that are familiar with. Like, it is slower paced. The British scene would like to work on limbs. It is slow but effective holds, and they make the big spots mean something. And I thought they told such a good story of Pete Dunne, the considerably very smaller guy compared to Walter, just working on the hands and just trying to battle and wear down Walter just so he could be on a level playing field, because Walter dominated the match. Walter at the beginning was just dominating. But again, like the tag match earlier, I went in thinking Walter's won, which he did. But I thought, actually, they've built Pete so well. What if he does do it? What if Pete keeps the title? And I'm glad they didn't, because for various reasons which we can discuss, I felt like Walter had to be the person to take it off Pete, and it had to be tonight for the sake of the NXT UK brand. But no, the match itself was absolutely fantastic. What was your thoughts on it, Josh? Especially not seeing much UK wrestling before. Well,
so for me, a lot of people, I think we discussed in the, a little bit earlier how a lot of people weren't happy that, this was on TakeOver New York. For me, as someone who has watched, I haven't not watched NXT UK. I've just watched little of it. I watched TakeOver Blackpool, and it was great. Absolutely loved it. It's just it is a different style to what I'm used to. Even the Australian style of wrestling is more adapt to the North American scene. It's very similar. Of course, there's elements of the British style here, and even in American wrestling, but it's few and far between. So this match, to me, not that I didn't have high expectations of it, it was just different. It just had a different feeling. I wasn't exactly sure what to expect. I knew it was going to be a slower paced match, which I'm not angry with at all. I don't mind that kind of style. But to me, what surprised me the most was how much I actually enjoyed this style of wrestling, because, just in short term, I just it felt every spot built to something bigger and bigger and bigger. It was literally a match that built to the finish. The finish was the most important part of the match. In my opinion, that's what should be. It is the most important part of the match. But you are right. It's very, they work on joint manipulation, and it's a little, a little bit more heavy-handed. It's not so fast-paced. It just builds to a different pace. It's not quote-unquote slow, it's just slower. But I actually really enjoyed it. It does make me kind of come out of this and go, I need to start paying a little bit more attention to what's going on over there, because I'm missing out on a very different style of wrestling.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it is, and I'm probably biased here, but this was the match I was most invested in, just because I've seen it grow, both live and then back on TV. And with Pete, I've seen Pete from just being somebody on the card that honestly nobody cared about. He was just another guy on the card. And I'll tell you a story of how the Bruiserweight came about. Pete ended up going to China for a little bit. I think he might have went out there with Zach Gibson also on the NXT UK. Don't hold me to that. But I know Pete went out to China and he started using this thing called the Bruiserweight. And he was recording some of the stuff out there. When he came back, he spoke to a guy called Andy Quilden, who works for Rev Pro. And that's where he was like, look, I've been trying this, and I'd like to do this with it. Like, what do you thought? And Andy loved it. And that's where the Bruiserweight was born. And over the years, it started developing. Like, he was working for Rev Pro. He was working for Progress. And then eventually, he'd got the NXT call-up. So he had to cut ties with Rev Pro, but again, he's still doing Progress, Fight Club, OTT, and the layers and layers and layers to the Bruiserweight to now, which is one of the hottest characters in WWE. It's been amazing to see that that growth, and Walter's just amazing as well.
Yeah, I knew a lot about Pete Dunne. I'd seen his work. Obviously, he's appeared many times, and I've just seen him. But Walter was someone I wasn't really too familiar with outside of the chops. Everyone's seen his chops, and they're brutal, and I hadn't really seen too much outside of that. But damn, he can go as well, and what a mix of styles in the ring. Pete, obviously a lot smaller than Walter, and man, I really, really appreciated this match. Was it my favorite match on the card? Probably not, but I was just overwhelmed with how much I'd taken back and gone, I really need to watch NXT UK outside of just watching the Australians in NXT UK, because there's a couple, Rhea Ripley, who grew up about an hour away from me, which is crazy, and Tony Storm, Shane Thorne's been wrestling over in NXT UK, so yeah. I need to get my eyes on NXT UK way more than I do. So this match did that for me. So for all those people that were saying, oh, we don't want it on TakeOver New York, you may have gained yourself at least one new fan in me.
No, it's great to see, and it's just a naivety of some wrestling fans these days. The same wrestling fans that saying NXT UK should never be filmed in America, the same fans that are saying, why don't we get a WrestleMania? Yeah, and the hypocrisy is laughable, and it's like, it's a new brand, let us build it. Like, if there was to do Pete vs. Walter 2, that needs to be in the UK. Yeah, like we need to experience that. But I think for the first match. And for the first match for Pete to lose the belt, needed to be on that show, because that's what had more eyes on, and it's a great introduction to the WWE universe of Walter. And Walter's such a throwback. He is like that old European style, maybe like Haystacks or Big Daddy. He's that big brute, and yeah, I thought it was a fantastic introduction for Walter, who's got a big future ahead of him. I'm just excited to see what happens with Pete Dunne next. Maybe appear in the Battle Royal tomorrow on Sunday. Yeah. Or you never know. There's been talks Rey Mysterio's injured.
Hey, someone's got to fill that role.
Yep. I'd lose my shit if that happened. Probably won't happen, but hey, I'd lose my shit.
Hey, I'm the same with some other things going on at WrestleMania. Here's a question for you. While I've got someone here that's so in, obviously from the UK, do you think we'll see more NXT UK stuff on takeovers? Maybe the NXT Women's Championship, or just something from NXT UK on more takeovers? Like you said, to get more eyes on the product. Is that something that you could envision?
Yeah, it's a tricky one. Like, I know full well they've been doing like 2 or 3 tapings whilst they're out there. They're going to be doing 2 or 3 sets of tapings, so that's going to grow the audience with it. And a lot of the guys and girls have flown out there. I think that it needs to happen, but you need to make sure it's the right people, because maybe introduce one NXT first, and have them defend the titles just on NXT products first, to let the Full Sail crowd or just the NXT fans through the network get familiar with them before putting them on such a big stage, because the last thing you do want is the UK Tag Team Champions, for example, Zach Gibson and James Drake, the grizzled young vets, absolutely fantastic. Gibson's one of the best heels in the UK. He generates so much heat, but would that transition to America? I don't think it would just yet, because they've not had that openness. So I think they need to do it in Full Sail first. Yep. Otherwise, the last thing you want to hear is crickets. If at a takeover where it's the hottest crowd of the weekend all the time, you do not want silence during somebody's entrance.
That's true. That's very, very true. You need to have the right people, whether it's the tag teams or it's the women's division, whatever it may be. You need to have the right people in there, because that's the last thing you want. It does not look good on television if they're not getting good reactions on TV and they're just not into it, because that just means less exposure and less opportunities they're going to get to do this. But speaking of big opportunities, the NXT Women's Championship was defended in a fatal 4-way, and they had a lot to follow. There was a lot of great stuff. They needed to keep things relatively fast-paced, and the beauty of a fatal 4-way is that they genuinely are. But were you excited? This was what I was looking forward to the most. I'm a huge fan of women's wrestling and just a huge fan of these 4 ladies in particular in NXT. So this is what I was looking forward to the most. How did you feel about this match? Because I thought it was pretty damn good.
Yeah, you've got 4 of the best women wrestlers in the world at the moment in there. Bianca Belair is absolutely fantastic. The growth that she's had since first coming in NXT has been fantastic to see. You've got Shayna Baszler, who I think is probably the most underrated female wrestler in the world today. I don't think she gets the credit she deserves. I said, this is no disrespect to Ronda Rousey, because I think she is fantastic as well. But if you put Ronda Rousey's star power onto Shayna Baszler, you've got the perfect athlete.
I agree.
Because Shayna is just absolutely fantastic with her character. Her in-ring works so smooth in her transitions. It is amazing to see. And then you've got Kairi Sane and Io Shirai, 2 of the best athletes in the world, regardless of gender. Huge Io Shirai fan. I love her. She's amazing, and she needs to be the next champion for me personally. Excuse me. But I thought, with fatal 4-ways, it can be tricky. You don't just want it to be a spot fest.
No way.
To tell a story in a fatal 4-way can be very hard to do. But this one, I mentioned earlier, it was before we went on the air. It was so good. The storytelling between Io and Kairi, from working together to them breaking up each other's pinfalls and seeing that look of despair, and then actually fighting each other and being so upset that they're trying to hurt each other to get the win. And I just thought that was amazing. And then Bianca Belair, when she's got them both up on her shoulders, there's more or less tears coming out of her face, down her face, where I thought, well, is her emotions kicked in too soon? Is she winning here? And I generally thought, because of her facial expressions, she's got it won.
Yeah.
And then Shane, gone.
No, I'm just a huge Bianca Belair fan, so you could imagine me at this point. I was jumping up and down. I thought it was the end as well. I'd seen her tearing up. I was like, this is happening. We're getting a new champ. And as much as I wanted Bianca to win, what an incredible finish. I thought it was perfect. Shayna come in, because I don't know about you, but I was expecting a new champ. Didn't know which one of them it was going to be, but I didn't think Shayna was retaining, full stop. But it was a shock to me, and I really did enjoy this match. I thought it really was, again, a different kind of style than all the other matches, which is what you want. You want something different in each of these matches, and those ladies put on a damn good match. Beautiful finish. Like you said, it's hard to storytell when there's 4 bodies in there. It's really hard to capture genuine emotion, but each of those ladies did. And man, Shayna Baszler, like you mentioned before, underrated is a perfect word for her. She's underappreciated because you look at her in the original Mae Young Classic and you look at her today, it's two different performers. She has come so far in such little time. She is just the ultimate heel. It's very hard to cheer her, and that's what you want in a heel. She's not cool. She's not that edgy heel. She's just a badass. She'll come in and kick your shit in, and that's what I want.
She's what Ronda Rousey was supposed to be from the get-go.
Yep.
That's what Ronda Rousey should have been.
Yep.
And they didn't do it. But I think it's been great for Shayna Baszler to lose like that. I think it adds an extra layer to her character because she showed such despair in her face and like how desperate she was to try and get out of that submission, and you could see that you believed that she genuinely wanted to get out of that.
Yep.
And
beautiful.
It was
match.
the claws to the eyes, pulling the hair, and then when she's just fading and stuff. Absolutely amazing for the emotion, the storytelling, and well, the main event of WrestleMania have got a big job to follow after that fatal 4-way.
Damn, that must be the. I think we're going to be saying that a lot over these next 48 hours leading into WrestleMania. Is that they have got quite the show to follow. It's almost a blessing for WrestleMania that the Hall of Fame's on in between. It gives us a chance to kind of cool down from this takeover and head into Mania. You're right, though. The ladies have a... If you're just looking at it from that point of view, where they're following the NXT Women's Championship match, a multi-person match, damn. You got big shoes to fill. You've got a lot to live up to, and the pressure is already on for Becky, Charlotte, and Ronda come Mania being in the main event. But just looking at it from that way, I don't know if they're going to be able to capture that, maybe not pure emotion, because you will have the emotion in it, but just that really wonderful storytelling. And I'm the same as you. I'm a big Io fan. I think Io Shirai is just the crispest worker. She does not make mistakes in the ring, or if she does, she certainly doesn't let us know. I think Kairi Sane is one of the most genuinely, like, just sweet people in the world. You just want to give her a big hug. She's just just the nicest. This looks like the nicest, most genuine person. But she can kick some butt too in there. It was a very nice mix of 4 very different characters, and like you said, Bianca showing that she genuinely did not want to tap. She was like literally grabbing Shayna's hair, and you know, she did not want to lose this match. And yeah, like I said before, very surprising result. Did not think Shayna was going to get the win. Where does this lead to now, though? What do you see next for the NXT Women's Championship? Because now that Shayna's beat Belair twice, you would think that she's done with Belair. Does she go to Io? Do we move more into that territory? Do we continue with this multi-deal? I really don't know.
I'd go... If it's not Io, because obviously Io's not had a one-on-one, so if it's not Io to beat Shayna, then I'd throw it out there to beat a badass. You've got to be a badass. Rhea Ripley.
Hey, I'm not going to argue with that.
Rhea Ripley, like, seeing her live in the UK, she's absolutely fantastic. And I think it'd be really good with having a heel take out a heel, and just, I think it'd be a good way to get Shayna to the main roster and have Rhea as such a dominant heel on the NXT stateside, because she's like, you know, that girl that you was all scared of?
Yep.
Well, I made her my bitch. Like,
it's kind of like a passing of the torch. I did all this, and now it's your turn to do this in a weird kind of way. Here's a question for you, though. Those 4 ladies in that match, we've got the Raw and SmackDown after Mania, and then we got the Superstar Shake-Up the week after. Do you see any of those 4 involved in that in some capacity?
I fucking hope not, because the last set of call-ups have been shit. I'm sorry, but...
It's fine. I can't argue it.
EC3, his stuff in TNA, he was one of the best talkers and one of the most entertaining wrestlers in any company. he went to NXT, carried across that momentum. He looks a star. He looks like everything that Vince McMahon would want.
He's jacked.
Yeah, he can talk. He's a good-looking guy. Got such bags of charisma. He's jacked, and he can wrestle.
Yeah.
So why would you do that? Like, he went from being a mute to being a mute. He had that feud with the Mirror, which we saw. Yeah, he was having a feud with the Mirror, and then it was the Alexa Bliss segment, and the way she spoke to him, I was like, oh, actually, there could be going something down here. And then Dean Ambrose came out. He got to beat Dean Ambrose. Then before I know it, he's losing to Tyler Breeze on main event.
Yep. I don't even know. You're literally not wrong with any of that because, like you said, he was a fantastic worker in TNA, in Impact. He was a great talker. So what do you do with a great talker? You put them on mute. Literally, he was a mute. He could not speak. They would not allow him to speak. And now he can kind of speak, but he's just in, like you said, he's wrestling on main event every week. I think he was on SmackDown in that. Was he in that 18-person mixed tag match on SmackDown? I'm pretty sure he was. But if he was, he wasn't memorable.
I'm not too sure. I know he was in the big brawl that was on Raw.
Oh yeah.
At the end of it, I know he was on that, and I kind of sighed and thought, "Fuck's sake!" And I don't know. There was just so much hype. It could have been so much better, but instead, for 4 weeks straight, he was playing peekaboo with a fucking mirror.
He was. And he's done literally out of, well, I won't say out of them all because Nikki Cross is another one that's been brought up who should be making waves on the main roster. That lady, character alone, is a better character than pretty much anyone else. She is so good at that character. And, you know, the crazy girl has been done before, but it's hard to argue that anyone's doing it better than her or anyone did it better than her. And she's very good in the ring. She should be utilized more. You have Lacey Evans, who I love, but even I'm starting to be like, they need to do something with her. Now, do I think she's probably going to win the Battle Royal? Yeah. But you got Heavy Machinery. They've probably done the best out of that group.
So entertaining.
They are really
so
good.
entertaining.
I didn't think, to be honest with you, out of all of the people that were announced in that group of call-ups, I didn't think they were going to really do that much. I wasn't really sold on Heavy Machinery, but they've done the opposite of that in my mind, and they're the ones I'm sold on. They're going to be something, you know, they need to do a little bit more with them, but hey, out of all of them, they're doing more with them. So, nonetheless, I personally see a call-up for one of those ladies. I think it's more on the Kairi Sane side of things. I think she's very much ready to come up, but I am a little frightened because...
I think Bianca might.
Do you? Oh.
Potentially, yeah. I think she I think she'd fit the main roster. Well, let's say she won't fit the main roster because the ones that you don't think are going to fit the main roster, they actually do something with. Yep. So let's say she'll shit the bed on the main roster. That way she might do something good. But no, I think she'd be good for it. I think she'd be... I really think the hair gimmick of whipping her opponents would get over really well on Raw.
It probably would.
With the families, with the kids, and with us adults, I just think it would be something that I'd get over more. And I'd like Kairi to stay in NXT whilst Io's there, because I really want to see them both come up as a tag team for the tag titles.
Yeah, that's true.
And, well, look at Asuka. I don't want that to happen to Kairi. Not just yet.
No. They had lightning in a bottle with Asuka, and... Do you know what? To me, it wasn't her losing to Charlotte at WrestleMania last year. It's what they do after that. And they just completely put her in a... It was an unwinnable situation with that stuff with Carmella and all of that kind of fuckery, because to me, that wasn't them putting time into Asuka. That was them trying to make Carmella work. And it just with both of them. They didn't just take away momentum from Asuka. That took away momentum from Carmella. So you couldn't even get one big star out of that, because once she was done with Asuka, it was just, let's move on to the next program and get the title off of Carmella. So even if you're not a Carmella fan, it didn't even help her. So, I mean, just what they've done since then, and then finally you think Asuka's going to be something special, getting the title, and then, I mean, that reign happened, and she just, it's a topic that we could probably talk about for ages, but we'll move on to the main event, NXT Championship, 2 out of 3 falls, vacant NXT title. Obviously, there was going to be some hype around this one, because you look at Adam Cole, you look at Johnny Gargano, and you know that it's going to be good. And this one built very nicely. What I liked about this main event is that they didn't shit their spots in all at once. It was very much a build to that last fall, which is what you want from a 2 out of 3 falls match. How did you feel about this one? Because there was a lot of emotion in it.
Yeah, part of me, I wish it didn't happen to Ciampa, so that the story could have come full circle.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think it would have played out the same way, but no, it's absolutely fantastic. Adam Cole can't do anything wrong. Johnny Gargano can't do anything wrong. I couldn't call which way it was going to go. I think I was swaying more of the Adam Cole side of things before the match. I thought Cole might win, but again, it's just a storytelling of Johnny can't do it on the big when it matters. Johnny can't get that takeover win, could you say? Like, he's only had one before, and it was pulling everything out, and Adam Cole had something for him every single time, and you had the Undisputed Era coming in and attacking, and I thought, nope, that's it. And then, nope, that's it again. And I thought, actually, they're building to Gargano to win. But then they did something where I was like, nope, Gargano's losing. And I just, in that last 5-10 minutes, I was like, Cole, Gargano, Cole, Gargano, Cole, Gargano. My mind was going everywhere. I didn't know who was going to win. I just thought it was so entertaining. And I think at the end of the day, the right person won.
Oh, definitely. Seeing what we know now and what we've seen, just the near falls in that match alone, every time you thought Johnny was down and out, he came back. He really is the ultimate babyface. He's just someone that you see yourself in, and he just always fights from underneath. He had the Undisputed Era to fight against, as well as, Adam Cole in the ring. I just thought, I didn't expect to get that many false finishes, that many near falls, and just be literally, I was sitting in front of my television as close as humanly possible. Just, my jaw was to the floor, and just, I couldn't believe it. It was just so damn good. And especially on a card where at this point everything had been just amazing. It was like, damn, this has got a lot to live up to. It's going to be a very hard, I wouldn't want to say the word burnt out crowd, but you definitely had some pressure, because if that match went any kind of, too slow or whatever, that crowd had seen a lot. They'd seen a lot of good, so their expectation levels were, through the roof at this point. But man, just, it's hard to put into words that was just very organic, pure emotion that you can't get out of everyone, and it's not manufactured at all. That was just pro wrestling at its finest. That's what we want from wrestling. We want that real emotion, and you can't get too more real than that.
No, I've got to agree. It was that it pulled at the heartstrings. It pulled out the emotions, especially at the end with Ciampa coming out.
Oh yeah.
I may not have understood that, because the last time Johnny was kicking his ass, but you know what? I didn't care.
Me either.
Knowing what Ciampa's going through, I was like, yeah, let's just break that fourth wall. Like, let him have this moment. It was really nice to see, and I'm interested to see what's next for Gargano. Really, I'm interested to see if Cole's going to go back for one more, or who's going to be that first real challenger for Johnny Gargano. Maybe Pete Dunne. Could he go more NXT stateside? That'd be really interesting to see. But what's your thoughts? What do you think's next for Gargano?
Yeah, see, that's what I don't know, because, when you have that kind of emotion and stuff like that, sometimes, I know for me, I know everyone watches wrestling differently, but for me, I don't think about that immediately. I just kind of taking in what just kind of happened, but now that we know we're an hour removed from it, my mind doesn't know where to really take it. I'm not sure. It's intriguing to see what's next, but yeah, of course, there's a possibility of Adam Cole going for it again. But other than, I can't envision what's next, and I guess that's a good thing in some ways, because, like you said, predictability isn't the best. But I don't know. I'm excited for it, and I love all of that. But it is intriguing to see what's next for Johnny, because, hey, getting to the championship is one thing, but keeping that momentum when you have a championship, especially when we've waited for that for so long, is another thing. The only thing I can kind of, if you take it in this kind of vein, remember when Bayley won the NXT Women's Championship in that incredible match, and we waited so long, she just kept losing and losing and losing and nearly getting it. And then, Bayley's reign was, it wasn't bad at all, but I don't think it was incredible. I don't know if she could maintain that momentum. And that's the same for Johnny. It's just on a much, it's a different NXT than it was 4 years ago. But can he maintain that momentum? I'm not sure. I genuinely hope so. And I generally am more leaning towards he probably can. But it is hard, because sometimes that's the peak of it.
He's got really big shoes to fill. I've said it before on social media. Ciampa, to me, probably the greatest NXT champion of all time. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. So will Gargano be able to captivate the audience? And yeah, like, everybody loves an underdog journey, but when they finally get there, it sometimes does fizzle out, where nobody really cares a little bit.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, the match was just, that Panama Sunrise from Adam Cole was absolutely ridiculous. I was just like, holy shit. Like, it's happening.
I agree.
It was just when Gargano took out all of the Undisputed Era in an amazing spot outside the ring. And then I was like, oh, he's fucking lost. I was like, Cole's getting the win.
Me too.
And then again, didn't happen. And yeah, sometimes I don't like a lot of false finishes, but they did it well there.
Oh, yeah. Because it can get overcrowded. You're like, okay. You've still got to have a sense of believability in wrestling. You've still got to have a sense of realism. And sometimes when people just keep kicking out of everything, it's like, all right, this is getting a little bit unbelievable. But to me, that was if you're going to do it, that's the perfect way to do it. But overall, just a fantastic match. Now, I've been kind of, sometimes when you're in the moment, you're like, man, that was amazing. I can't believe I've never seen anything like that. But as I've kind of dialed back, an hour later, I'm still in that same mindset. I do genuinely think that was probably the best takeover I've ever seen.
Ooh.
Do you agree? Because sometimes people don't. I just think top to bottom, there hasn't been one better.
It's difficult. They didn't have a bad match on. It was incredible. So I think the consistently strong may be the best. However, there's been certain matches that I've preferred that have made me really enjoy. So again, biased, but Dunn and Bate, Chicago, absolutely incredible. It's one of those, I think it has to be up there, but it's the story of TakeOver. Every single time they just do it better, and it's like, yeah, they are topping that, and they do. And it's just because everything is just telling a story, and that's what's that's what it's all about. It's telling the story, getting the emotion, making people engage with the match, make it feel as if you are there, front row, and you just take in every move in. And I think it did it really well. Yeah,
just, man, it is a big thing, me saying that it's the best takeover ever. We'll see more so in the next few days if I still think that, but I generally do think it was an incredible show, and Mania's got something to follow. Something definitely hard to follow that show. But as we kind of wind down here, going into Mania, are you looking forward to WrestleMania?
Yes, it's Mania. Like,
exactly, yeah.
It is what it is. It's larger than life. It's a spectacle. And I think it's one of the strongest Mania cards in a long, long time. Yes, some of the story build may be a bit meh. But again, I can't predict what's happening. The main event, Brock versus Rollins, Bryan and Kofi. You've got AJ Styles and Randy Orton, which it's a lucky dream match. Like, everybody was on about when Styles first came in, Styles needs to face Cena, and rightly so. But if Cena wasn't available, the person that had to step up would have been Randy Orton. And it's the two workhorses of, one, the independents, to another WWE manufactured wrestler. And I just thought, I think that could steal the show, personally.
Me too.
I'm really excited what we're going to do.
WrestleMania is WrestleMania. It's biggest show of the year. There's nothing bigger. This is the biggest weekend in wrestling, the biggest week in wrestling. Excitement is real. The excitement is real. We just had an incredible NXT takeover, and Kurt, I want to thank you for joining me for this rundown. I know it's extremely late in your land, so
what time is it now? 20. It's 4:20 in the morning. I've been up for 22 hours 20 minutes.
Damn.
Straight. But before we go, anyways, like, hold your horses there, Josh. Kushida. What's your thoughts on Kushida?
I don't really have a lot of exposure to Kushida.
Okay.
But I know very little, but I know that he's very, very good. But yeah, I'm not going to lie to anyone. I don't have a lot of exposure, but even me, who didn't have a lot of exposure to him, I seen him and I was like, okay, there's obviously some kind of buzz. So now my job is to get familiar with him, with his work. But I've at least heard enough about him and have seen very little to know this guy's good.
Yeah, he's one of the best cruiserweights in the world. Like, yeah, he is absolutely fantastic. Some of the matches he's had with, like, the likes of Will Ospreay or a lot of the New Japan guys in Best of Super Juniors, or being the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, he's probably, apart from Jushin from the Lie guys, he's probably been the biggest junior heavyweight in Japan for like the past 10 years. He is such a big deal to be coming across to America, and I actually think he's gonna do better if he stays away from injuries. He's going to do better than Hideo Itami or Kenta.
That's a shame about Ateo, because he was very good, but just a lot of injuries.
If he didn't get injured, he'd have held the IC or the US title. He'd still be on the main roster. It might have even got higher than that. But yeah, with Kushida, I'm really excited to see what he's going to do, and what they're going to do with him.
No, I agree. Like I said, not a lot of exposure to him, but at least know enough about him that he can make a big impact here. And I know that I think he's been in the Performance Center for a little while now. I think I heard about that a few months ago, but could be wrong. But nonetheless, he could be really good. I've seen enough of him to know that he is very good. But anyway, Kurt, thank you very, very much for coming on and, being 4:20 in the morning and you're still here roaring on. I hope I accommodated you well enough to keep you awake and alive for this last hour before you evidently crash for a little bit of a sleep. But once again, this is your chance. Plug away anything you need to plug away and tell everyone where we can find you.
So you can find us on wherever you listen to the podcasts, wherever you listen to Josh with Wrestling Reverb. We are part of the Brainbuster Radio. We make our debut on Sunday. You can call us the go-home show to WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah.
Yours today was absolutely fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
Everybody so far has been knocking it out of the park, so we've got some big shoes to fill. But yeah, you can find us on Twitter at WTPodUK. If you go onto our iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, we do have some recent interviews. One with Alicia Atu, who's now been named the AEW backstage correspondent, which is fantastic. We interviewed Chris Van Vliet, who has interviewed the likes. I think he told me he interviewed The Rock 9 times.
Heck.
9 times. Like, he's one of the big YouTubers. He's got millions and millions of views on YouTube. So yeah, check that out, especially if you're interested in getting into the world of podcasting or interviewing professional wrestlers. It gives a really, really good insight. And yeah, you can catch us every Sunday. If you wanted to, I don't really tweet as much off my personal account anymore. I'm normally running the WT Pod UK, but you can find me WTP Kurt on my personal Twitter as well. And we'll be on Brainbuster this Sunday.
Yeah, if you haven't listened to the Wrestle Thoughts podcast, make sure you do, because they are just, you just feel like you're one of the boys, one of the lads, and you're just chilling out, having a conversation about wrestling, and just having a laugh, because, hey, everyone needs to have a laugh at some point, and these boys do it well. They're just very tight-knit, and I personally enjoy them. But thank you very much, Kurt. This will be the last time you hear the sweet sound of my accent before WrestleMania. So make sure everyone has a wonderful WrestleMania, and please, everyone, I put this out on Twitter. It's very important. Kurt will back me up 100%, I'm sure. Please, please, be kind to one another over the next few days, because I know everyone can get a little bit wild with wrestling, and no one's allowed to have an opinion on the internet, but just respect each other's opinions. Just have a nice civil debate about wrestling. We all are here for the one thing, and it's for WrestleMania. It's for whatever you're for. It's for wrestling. And just, please, be as nice as possible to one another, because, man, that shit can tear you down. It can tear you down. But, thank you very much, Kurt, and I hope we can chat again very, very soon.
Yeah, we'll sort something out soon, Josh. Thank you very much.
No worries. Catch you guys next time. Peace. Alright, before we go today, I'd like to thank Kurt for coming on Wrestling Reverb to recap the show, but I'm going to transfer you over now to a little brief chat that I had with the Queen of NE from Queen's Court right here on Brainbuster Radio. She went to NXT Takeover. She was live in the Barclays Centre, so we're going to have a little chat about her experience there, and she's going to briefly run us down. So please take a moment to listen to Queen and I have a nice little chat about her experience being live in Brooklyn. Alrighty, everyone. As promised, we've got Queen here. She's just got back into her hotel from NXT Takeover New York. Queen, how was that show for you?
Joshy, it was an absolute banger. I can't even get over what I just witnessed live. I don't even know if I have words. If I have words, I'm going to find them, but I don't have them right now.
So, Queen, me and Kurt from Wrestle Thoughts Podcast just run down absolutely everything that happened in the show, but I'm so excited to have a bit of a chat with you about what it was like for you being there live. The atmosphere on TV, of course, just resonated through my speakers, but there is nothing like being at a wrestling event live, especially one. I could just imagine what it's like to be in Brooklyn, because Brooklyn is my favorite crowd to hear and just be. I would love to be a part of that experience. Was this your first time in the Barclays Centre?
It was not my first time in the Barclays Centre, but was my first NXT show.
Okay. So, going into this, I mean, you only found out you were going to take over this week, so you didn't have a lot of time to really prepare yourself, I would say. But going into that, what were you kind of expecting?
I knew 100% from watching them and from people that I know that have gone there, that it was going to be insanity, because NXT is always insanity and takeovers are always the best part of the weekends, usually for me. So I was like, this is going to be it. I'm going to be there live. And how amazing is that? And then I walked in and it blew my expectations out of the water. The crowd, so hot. The people were so funny next to us and around us. There were way too many Matt Riddle people for me, but that's okay. And I didn't really know what to expect, other than I knew it was going to be great. But man, totally surpassed my expectations.
Well, that's what you want. That's what you want
Yes.
out of a wrestling show, because that crowd was popping, and you could tell it was loud in Brooklyn that night. Now, I want to personally, before we even get to any of the matches, personally thank you for getting that video of one Bianca Belair for me. I was very, 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 very happy. I was like, yes, Queen hooked me up. I'm glad. Damn. Now, did you get into the building a little late?
I did. I got into the building a little late, just after the tag team match started.
Right. So you did get to experience that, though.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I did. We were just like a tad late because, New York's insane. It just is. And there's traffic everywhere. It takes you 45 minutes to go 3 miles. So that's imagine. Just how it is. Yeah. So it had started, but I pretty much watched the entire thing. So it was insane. Insane.
I mean, man, it's hard to put into words what that show was, because
good
God.
I know.
just literally, I was just saying this to Kurt, so I'll just reiterate it to you, but that was probably, if not the best takeover ever, it's certainly in the conversation, because top to bottom, you could argue that any of those matches were show-stealing matches. Any of them. And I would from everything, from the tag team match, just give me a brief little rundown. I'll just list off the matches and you just give me your kind of take being there. What was it like to be in the atmosphere of that tag team match? Because, man, did that surprise me on how dang good that was.
They were wonderful. Like, wonderful. It was unreal to feel the vibe when Ricochet and Aleister were doing their movesets together, and everybody was like so on their side. But War Raiders are great too, so it was kind of like this weird dichotomy going on of like half the crowd was for the War Raiders and the other half was for NXT, but like they weren't mad about it, And it was like electrifying. Ricochet got up and he did, oh my God, the flips. It was unbelievable. And then War Raiders were diving out of the ropes. What was that? I didn't even know what was happening. I turned to Mr. Queen and I was like, dude, like, are you seeing this? Is this insane or am I just crazy? What a match. It was one of my favorite tag team matches at a takeover I've ever seen, other than like War Games, but that's like a whole nother level. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Watching that match on television, man, that is one of those times. I mean, this whole show, I was just jealous that you were there and I was not. But I mean, god dang, like that was just really just a great send off for Aleister and Ricochet. But
yes, that's exactly what I was just gonna say. Yeah. What a send off, and everybody got to like thank them. It was standing ovation. People were screaming. I felt like we were at a rock concert almost, I
mean, the place was rocking. So
it was.
I mean,
it was.
Going into the NXT North American Championship, you did mention there was lots of Matt Riddle fans.
Oh yes,
near you. I am not a Matt Riddle fan. I think he's a good worker, but there's something about him I just don't like. I think it's his face. I think it's the no shoes thing. I'm big again. No thank you. But anyway, nonetheless, he's a tremendous worker in the ring. He is. And that match brought it because, man, I imagine being there, I know from my experience at Super Showdown, it's very easy to get burnt out and it's very easy just to go on your phone or just be like, I need to calm down a little bit, especially after the pacing of the first match. I could just imagine, I was like, okay, this might not be as good and you have to follow something that good. But man, was I wrong. What a fantastic match that was. And Dream is
It was unbelievable.
How was it? Here's a question for you. How was it experience the Dream's entrance? Because I could imagine that'd be something spectacular.
Dude, that was sickening. Like, you know that he's going to do something crazy because he just is.
Yeah.
But the way he came out, I went actually live on Brainbust's Instagram just for that entrance, just so people could see it. Because let me tell you, seeing that in person, I was like, I'm in the presence of wrestling royalty to be. I just know it. He is he already is a star, but like a main roster Hall of Famer, I'm calling it now. If they use him the right way, it's happening.
Oh, yeah, I can see that too. And him and Riddle brought it. Anything that you want to kind of quickly go over in that match? Because I know we're kind of running through everything. But
no, totally fine.
Anything that kind of stood out to you just in being there as opposed to maybe we didn't catch that on TV, or just the atmosphere in general?
Yeah, I mean, the atmosphere, people were really, really, really into this match and super divided. This was, I think, like the one match where people were on clearly different sides and like did not want the other to win. So, I mean, it was all respectful, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get you.
I will say that I'm not a Riddle fan either. However, that man earned my respect in this match. I've never seen anything like that match in person. The way that he looks, I don't really like his face either, but his facial expressions and his, like, he couldn't believe that he wasn't winning.
Yeah.
The storytelling, that in person, I think was unbelievable. I don't know if it translated to TV, but that's how it felt for me.
No, I definitely understand that he sold it to me. He sold himself to me this night. I was like, okay, I can at least see why people are on that Matt Riddle train. But incredible stuff from those two. And
absolutely,
man, Kurt said this, and I don't know if you'll agree or if you'll disagree, but Kurt said this earlier in our chat, that he can see those two, maybe not against each other, but he can see those two in a WrestleMania main event.
Oh yes, absolutely, easily, hands
too.
down.
I can, especially Velveteen Dream. I think with a little bit more experience for Matt Riddle and just a little bit more of a guidance in NXT, I think he's going to be a huge star. He does have that written all over his dumb face, but he does have it written all over him. He is a star.
Absolutely.
But moving on to the NXT UK Championship, Pete Dunne with that. I can't. Was it 656 days or something like that as NXT
685.
85. Thank you for correcting me.
685. Yeah.
What was it like to see the end of that reign come to be, being there live, and was there a difference? Because I know you messaged this in the Brainbuster group chat. You did feel like there was a little bit of a difference in the air in the sense of people a little quieter.
Yes, absolutely. They were a little quieter. But this is British wrestling. It's very different. It's going to be a slower pace. It's going to be hard hitting. It's going to be strong style. And I think a lot of people, it's a cool down in that way, right? Coming off of those first two matches, it was insanity. So it was well needed at that moment. But I think a lot of people were like, oh, like, what's this? I wasn't really sure. Like, people love Pete Dunne, as they should, because Pete Dunne is wonderful. And as far as his reign coming to an end, it was bittersweet for me. Like, I picked Walter to win.
Me too.
But I wouldn't have been mad if Pete had retained,
Yeah, I get that.
I really like Pete Dunne.
Me too.
I really do. And but for me, he's got to go. He's got to go and do bigger and better things. Onwards and upwards for Pete Dunne.
Oh, I agree with you completely.
It's time. It's time for someone else to be champ. But yeah, it was a great match. But I feel like a lot of people, like, as you mentioned earlier, were going on their phones and like needed a little bit of a break. But then they got back into it, I think, towards the, like the middle end half, and then the end, obviously.
I agree with you completely. But what was the atmosphere like when Pete lost?
Yeah, people were not happy about that. Everybody next to me was like, seriously? And then there was one guy in front of me who's like, I told you he was going to win. I told you. And he was like going off on his friend. It was pretty funny. But yeah, the people were devastated. People were really upset. And the thing that I wanted to bring up, they didn't like give Pete a send-off at all.
Oh.
Like he lost a title and then like it went black. And then the promo came on.
Oh.
And I was like, wait, we're dark? Like we're not going to cheer for Pete? Like what's going on?
Yeah, I don't know.
It was so bizarre.
Oh, that's weird to... I thought that would have been a thing, but okay.
Yeah, it wasn't.
I didn't think about it. I didn't think about that until just now. Because even on television, we went straight into a promo. Huh.
Yep. Nothing.
Regardless, Walter was probably the right person to drop the title to. I think Walter could take NXT UK in a different direction, and I know you're probably a little bit preoccupied, but I said in our little group chat, I said to Kurt, this opened my eyes to NXT UK. I should probably pay more attention than I'm giving it. But hey, it is what it is.
Nah, it is.
It was a good match.
It was a good match. It wasn't my favorite.
No.
I actually thought it was going to be one of the best of the weekend. I was wrong. Not to say that it was bad.
Oh, it definitely wasn't.
But some other things happened a little later that just, you know, stole the entire show.
Yeah, and speaking of, the match I was looking forward to the most was the NXT Women's Championship match, the Fatal 4-Way, Bianca Belair, Io Shirai, Kairi Sane, and the champ, Shayna Baszler. And did they deliver or what? Because I was really into this, because Kurt said it best, and I'll reiterate to you, he said it's a Fatal 4-Way can be fun because it can just be spotty, which is fine. But in this case, they told a brilliant story between the four of them, and I think that's not something we can dwell on because it's hard to tell a story with four bodies in there.
God.
Damn, did they put on it was a different kind of good match than everything else on the show. But man, was it good. That finishing sequence was just brilliant, and no one seemed to... The crowd definitely didn't seem to think that Shayna Baszler was retaining, as myself.
No.
But, what do you think about that match?
Not at all. I can't put into words how impressed I am with... Like, I was already impressed with Kairi Sane. I was already impressed with Io Shirai. They're fabulous. Unbelievable talent, those two. And Shayna Baszler, I mean, do you get any better as a heel? No.
No. Underappreciated talent.
Underappreciated talent. But the one... You know I like Bianca Belair. You know I do. But, like, she was a little lower on my list compared to the other three.
She's green.
But this woman put Kairi Sane and Io Shirai on top of her shoulders and dropped them both. Mm-hmm. And I'm over here, I'm, like, staring at what's happening. I'm looking at it on a replay, and I'm looking back and going, did that really just happen?
Yeah.
She looked so good in this match. I think probably one of her better matches that she's had.
Oh, easily.
Would you agree?
Yeah, easily. You know what for me did it? When she had, I don't know if you noticed this, you know, sometimes you miss things when you're live just because, you know, seating and just, you know, being in the hour of it, and it's like, okay. But when she put Kairi and Io on her shoulders, she was crying. It was a foregone conclusion in that Bianca even got into her emotion, and she was like, I'm winning this match. And I was jumping around like, Bianca's going to do this. And then in comes Shayna Baszler. I thought it was as much as I wanted Bianca to win, I thought it was a brilliant finish. And
brilliant.
Damn, Shayna retains, and damn, what a match.
What a match.
What a match.
What a finish. The crowd was booing so loud. It was great. That's what you want in your heel, you know?
You do,
but at the same
she's not edgy,
no,
she's not cool,
no.
She's just, you can't like the woman, and that's what you want.
That is what you want. You're totally right. Unbelievable. What a match.
Man, and then to think you think you've seen the best, and then the 2 out of 3 falls match happens, and this is where I was the most jealous, because I mean, it's so hard in wrestling. We always want those pure organic moments, and it's not really too much more organic and pure than Johnny Gargano finally winning the NXT Championship. All those near falls, the cheating from Adam Cole, and to be honest with you, Queen, I was so shocked that Johnny won. I thought it was...
Me too.
I thought it was Adam Cole. I thought he was getting the championship, but I'm not mad by any means. But overall, that match was just fantastic. And what was it like seeing Candice, Johnny, and Ciampa all just hugging at the end? Because that hurt my heart.
Oh my God. So let me start at the top of this real quick. So the first thing I said when this was over is I said, Mr. Queen, we can't go anywhere because Ciampa's coming out, I'm telling you. Second thing is that was worth every single penny that we spent to come here.
Yeah.
Just that match, never mind everything else, which was great. Just this 2 out of 3 was the most spectacular spectacle of wrestling that I've seen live to date.
Wow.
It was, I'm telling you, it was unbelievable. Unbelievable. That's just my pure heart emotional reaction. The near falls and almost like false finishes, and like, you thought Adam Cole was winning like 7 times.
Yeah.
And it never happened. And I'm like, all right, well, he's got to bring out Undisputed because then he's not going to win, right? So he's got to bring out some help. Brings him out, and he still doesn't win. Oh my God, it's like killing me. And then I said to Mr. Queen, I said, I think he's going to win. I think Gargano's going to do it. And sure enough, there he was. And then Candice comes out. I'm like getting all teary and emotional. And then Ciampa comes out, and I'm like, that's it. I've lost it. I'm like teary and like, oh my God, with his neck brace. It was heartbreaking, but so heartwarming at the same time.
Oh yeah, just that's what you want. That's what we all want out of this. At least I know I do. It's just those real moments, and that was, you can't really get much realer than that. But
you can't.
Man, WrestleMania has some following to do. It's almost a blessing that Hall of Fame's on next and then WrestleMania, so we can kind of calm down from all of that. But overall, how did you like that experience? Because I mean, it doesn't really get much better than that.
It doesn't, and if it's not the best takeover, it's easily top 2 or top 3, without question.
Yeah.
This experience was absolutely everything that I'd hoped for and more. I'm so glad that we pulled Sugar and came. I'm so happy that I was able to just send you that little video and like send all these pictures out and share in this experience with everybody, Brainbuster and otherwise. It was, Josh, unbelievable. I don't even know what to say right now. I'm so hype. I'm like, I agree. I'm so glad like tomorrow I can chill for a little bit before the G1 Supercard.
Oh yeah, you got that
and
tomorrow.
Then, I got that tomorrow. Jesus God. Then I'm going to see Okada. Or I'm going to be a mess.
Oh
Sunday
man,
I'm
you're
going to be like crying in the car.
Man, you're going to be a one tired queen come Monday.
I am, but you know what? It's so worth it.
Oh yeah.
It was so worth it.
Oh yeah. As we kind of wrap up here, thank you for taking a little bit of your time here as you're getting back to the hotel and that, just to kind of talk about this. But
of course. Well, thanks for having me.
Oh, of course. As we head into WrestleMania, how excited are you for the big festivities, and how excited are you for G1 Supercard tomorrow?
Oh my God. We'll start with the G1. I'm thrilled that I'm finally seeing one of my favorite wrestling promotions live, New Japan.
Yes.
Because they're never here. So this is exciting. And it's going to be my first time seeing Okada in person. I'm going to lose my mind. The amount of matches that are going to be happening tomorrow, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll be like crying in the car, like I said, on the way home on Sunday, going to Mania, going like, oh my God, how am I going to handle 8 more hours of this? However, I promise I'm so excited for WrestleMania.
It's Mania.
This just got me even more excited because now I'm like, who's coming? Who are we going to get? Who's coming in the Battle Royals? Who's going to show up Monday after Raw? I'm like so excited thinking about it and speculating. Like, oh my God. I'm pumped. Are you pumped?
I'm so pumped. I'm almost more pumped for Raw and SmackDown after Mania, because that's when
me too.
It's like I haven't even really set in that, we still got 2 more shows after Mania. There's a lot of wrestling, but hey, this is what we want out of WrestleMania weekend. You can't really ask for a better starting than that takeover, because holy shit, it was good.
It was really good. What a way to kick off Mania weekend, huh?
Hard to follow.
Wow.
Hard to follow.
Really,
I don't think we're going to get...
hard to follow.
I don't think Mania, although it's Mania and it's different, we're not going to get a top to bottom pure wrestling card like that.
No.
But for other reasons, Mania is just, it's the biggest thing ever. You can't really get any bigger than Mania. And just quickly, because we haven't chat since it was made official, how excited are you that the ladies are getting the chance to main event for the first time ever? Hopefully the first of many, but Becky, Charlotte, Ronda, it is the official headlining last match on the show. it's going to be hard to do that because you've got 8 hours of wrestling. They're going to be, hey, if you give them a crappy match, they're going to let you know. But I don't think that's really going to be the case just for the history behind it and the emotion. And it's Becky, it's Ronda, it's Charlotte. How excited are you that women are getting this opportunity finally?
I am beside myself with excitement that these women are closing the show. I'm going to say that one more time. Closing WrestleMania. They
The
are
main event. The
main event.
The
Not
headline.
a co-main event. The headline. Like, they are the people. And let me tell you, at NXT TakeOver, they played promos for WrestleMania. Becky came on that screen. You would have thought she was in the building. People lost their minds. So I can only imagine how it's going to be when she comes out and her music hits and she walks down that ramp at Mania to meet Charlotte and Ronnie. I can't. It's going to be unbelievable. I'm probably going to cry because of how hard these women have worked to get to this moment. And I agree. Cheers to the first of many.
Yeah, I agree. Couldn't wrap it up better myself, but I wish you a very happy G1 Supercard tomorrow.
Thank you.
And so glad you got to go to TakeOver. And hey, I'm sure we'll chat during WrestleMania, during Supercard, during everything. So
we will.
Happy WrestleMania weekend though, and experience the festivities for yourself. But everyone, this is Queen. You can catch Queen every Wednesday on Brainbuster Radio on Queen's Court. If you haven't catched her first episode, it was absolutely out of this world, extraordinary stuff. I genuinely mean that. I absolutely loved it. As you've gotten a lot of great, kind words from everybody. You can catch her Wednesdays. Brainbuster is well and truly off, and it's popping. We are.
Oh, it's popping.
Talk about NXT Takeover. We got a little Brainbuster takeover going on because
we sure do.
We're taking over some of your listening experiences. I hope everyone has enjoyed this episode. My chat with Kurt from Wrestle Thoughts. Thank you to him. Thank you to you, Queen, and go get some rest. I think it's time.
Yeah,
to probably go and get some rest.
I'm gonna do that, and you enjoy your day in sunny, probably beautiful Australia.
It is sunny. It's been a little cold today, but it's not too bad. We're going into the autumn. You call it fall, I believe.
Right.
We're going into our autumn, so we're going towards winter, which I love because I hate summer.
Oh, well, I can imagine. I'm sure it gets very hot.
Oh, it does. It gets real damn hot over here. But nonetheless, enjoy your Supercard tomorrow. Enjoy WrestleMania, and we'll catch you next time on Wrestling.
We'll catch you next time.
Peace out.